Hey guys, my name is Adrienne and I want to be a YouTube commentary channel. I have a stutter, so that's working in my favor. Anyway, but my goal is to be more of one of those commentary channels that's less of like you're watching a lecture and more of, we're besties, we're talking, we're just having a hangout. I'm gonna be your new hangout channel. Yes, my camera quality sucks. Yes, my audio quality sucks. We're gonna work on that later though. For now, talking about a TikToker, obviously, because the best commentary channels talk about TikTokers. Yes, this is my first video, and yes, we're gonna start with a controversial one, because why not? Have you ever heard of the trans TikToker Lilly Tino? If not, you're about to, because I haven't heard of her much. But I have heard that she is a hated person in the trans TikToker community. So I thought, why not start off with a controversial topic? And fun fact, I'm trans. I'm a trans man. But other fun fact about me is I don't really care if people misgender me, whatever. I'm confident in my gender identity. I've heard that she's really hated even within the trans community. So you and we're gonna find out who she is. We're gonna do some reactions to her couple videos, and then we're gonna have a nice talk about it. But I will say, even if you hate a trans creator, it is not an excuse to misgender them, okay? So I have a feeling I'm not gonna like this lady, but that doesn't mean I'm gonna misgender her. So just want to get that out of the way. That's not allowed. No misgendering allowed. Okay, let's find out who this lady is.
I recently bought a plane ticket to visit my family in a few weeks, and lo and behold, my account got disabled, which is fine. That's normal. It's a big purchase. So I called up and I said, hey, my account got disabled. And they said, are you calling for yourself or on behalf of someone? I said, nope, I'm.
That's a fair question because they can't see you. They can only hear you.
Yeah, Lily. Okay. And then they throw every security question at the book. They're asking my everything, my mom's maiden name, like everything.
Again, I want to say that that's actually fair for the security company to do. Like, I get that you're a trans woman, but it's just like if I called, Adrian's a pretty gender neutral name, but if I chose a more masculine name and I called and I said, hi, my bank account, something weird happened, they'd be like, okay, are you this man? No, because my voice isn't masculine. No offense, Lily, but your voice isn't feminine. They really are just trying to protect your account.
Everything. And then they put me on hold, and a hold for a minute or two is fine because it was just like one or two purchases. Like, there's not that much to review, but it's like 10, 15 minutes, and it's like they're not looking at these purchases. They must be like talking to someone.
Again, that's normal. Like, I understand that being misgendered is a hard experience, but at the same time, this bank's just doing their job, and it is suspicious.
They have to be suspicious. I'm almost certain they're suspicious because of my voice. They come back, and of course, they call me sir. Immediately I say, nope, I'm not a sir. I'm a transgender woman.
I guess that's fine, correcting them. I don't know if saying nope is the right thing. You can say, actually, sir, I'm a transgender woman. Whatever.
They said, oh, okay, I'm so sorry, sir. And it's like,
that was petty of them.
Okay, now I'm getting really upset because it's obvious what's happening. And then
I think at that point, that's when I would start getting upset, personally. I don't think I would have been really upset until that point, but if they did double back and call me sir again, that's when I would be kind of upset.
They say, oh, by the way, we're going to be placing a 3 business day hold on your account, which basically means I have no money. Rent is due in a few days, so don't know what I'm going to do about that. Really upsetting. And just because of my voice, I didn't realize that in order to be a customer at this bank as a transgender person, I had to voice train. They should probably put that on their marketing materials so other trans people know not to give that bank their business.
Okay, I have a couple thoughts about that video, and I am starting to see why people don't like her. Here's what I would do, okay? And any other trans people, or even cis people who have an opinion on this, as long as it's respectful, please tell me in the comments. But here's what I would do with the scenario if I had more of a masculine name. Adrian is a pretty gender neutral one. Let's say my name's Bob, okay? Hi, I'm Bob. I have a feminine voice. They'd be like, I'm not sure you are Bob. And I'd be like, oh, just right off the gate, I would say, actually, I'm transgender. Bob is my chosen name. And then, because my account would be under my legal name, I'd be like, my legal name is blank. Because that just right off the bat, it kind of shows you, because your bank account is probably under your legal name. So if you just start with my legal name is blank, but like, that gives you points for the future, and you can say like, oh, I told you like in the beginning, like I'm transgender. Like that, just right off the bat, that helps your case. But if you start with just saying, oh, I'm Lily, they can't see you. They don't know who you are. They're just trying to do your job. And even if you legally change your name, I guess that is a possibility that maybe she legally changed her name. But even then, the bank is just trying to do their job. They're just trying to help you. I think what's difficult is that if they don't know at the beginning of the conversation that you're trans, it's really going to seem like fraud. And that's like the world we live in, and that sucks, but it's true. And being misgendered hurts, but it also is just something that happens. And you don't have to go through voice training. You just have to handle these situations like with grace, like delicately. But okay, I will give her this. It was pretty petty of the person to say, okay, sir, like again after she corrected them, but that is, I will give her that. Let's go on a deeper dive though. Let's do a few more videos. This is what actually started my interest in her, because a lot of people saw this and didn't like it. First of all, I'm going to say I love the black lipstick. I love the vibe here. I love the fashion, love the makeup. Okay, let's see what she does.
I was just in the women's room at a Cheesecake Factory, and when I walked in, there was this little girl, like 3 years old, tops. She was standing there alone, I assumed waiting for her.
Something that I've seen a lot of people bring up. I also doubt the validity of that statement. If I were a parent, I would not just leave my 3-year-old in a room, regardless of who's in there. That is kind of where like my doubt starts to creep in, but whatever. Maybe this parent did that. Maybe they assumed we're in a fancy restaurant in the women's bathroom, there's not going to be creepy men around, which I'm not saying Lily is a creepy man. I'm just talking in general. Maybe the mom was just, that's kind of her thought process.
And, I just like nodded my head and didn't look at her. I was like, it's kind of awkward. And it occurred to me that when the parent, who I don't know, leaves the stall, exits their stall, and sees me, a trans person, and their little 3-year-old daughter, that they might make an assumption based on untrue things that they've heard.
People make assumptions all the time. We don't have to put that on ourselves.
An assumption that could be very dangerous for me, unsafe for me.
I don't think she's in danger from this, but whatever.
So instead of waiting for that to potentially happen, I left the bathroom and decided I didn't need to pee that bad. Trans people go through this thought process any time they're in a bathroom, and it's not okay. And it's important to talk about because it happens all the time.
I think it is okay. I really do. Because nothing actually happened. That's the thing in this story. Nothing actually happened. So you did bring that thought process unto yourself. Let's say like this is true and their mom did leave this 3-year-old out. This 3-year-old looked at you questioningly. Everything else was a what if, a possibility. Technically, there was nothing to be not okay. Kids are gonna look at you questioningly. Kids are questioning about everything. They could have been wondering why you had black lipstick on. Like that's just, it's a kid. Kids wonder things. That's what makes me mad about this, is that every like problem you had with this story was a what if. It was a maybe. Like that's my issue with this.
It's a girl, or I'm a girl. Now this is actually my second gender reveal, because the first time my parents told the world that I was a boy, which is incorrect.
I feel like that's just kind of a petty way to phrase it.
But I do not hold it against them, because how could they have known I was gonna be
Okay, apparently I should have waited for that statement to end, because that's fair.
trans? But it's a good reminder that the parts you see on an ultrasound don't determine a baby's gender. And how is that possible? Well, think about it like this marker. A blue cap usually means a blue marker, but sometimes marker caps get switched, and in this case, it is a pink marker. See, that's what happened to me. They saw something on the ultrasound that usually means it's a boy, but the cap was cap, and I turned out to be a girl. So should we stop doing gender reveals? Of course not. Gender reveals are a great way to celebrate the birth of a child. What I'm suggesting is instead of doing it before the kid is born, do it after they're born. This way, the kid can proudly tell the world that they're a boy or a girl or non-binary, yay! And since the kid is involved, they get to take ownership over the whole process. They can cut a cake or smash a piñata or do whatever creative spin they want on it. It's like a rite of passage that every kid looks forward to. And instead of parents speaking on behalf of their kid, the kid gets to speak for themselves.
I didn't like that. I did like, I'll give her that marker example was actually really good. And I feel like if I was talking to a kid and they're like, well, you still kind of seem like a girl, I might actually use that marker comparison, because that was pretty good. It was what followed it and what was surrounding it that made this video bad. Gender reveal parties happening before the birth. I always felt that that was like a little bit weird, but it wasn't anything that was a big deal. My point of view is that just builds excitement for the child, like a trailer almost, like when you have a movie premiering. Like, it's fun, it builds the hype and it connects people. I think that's the purpose of gender reveal, not necessarily being like, oh, I wanted a boy, I wanted a girl. I think if you have disappointment during the gender reveal, you're doing it wrong. But I really think it's just to build excitement. It can be wrong later on, but right now those parents, they just want to celebrate that they're having a child, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think having a gender reveal party with the kid, I think that's a hilarious idea. I think that's a great idea. But that's something for the kid to decide they want to do. Like, that's a fun idea, but it should not be mandatory. Or, like, it shouldn't replace traditional gender reveal. Does that make sense? If I, like, adopt or if I have a kid somehow, I might not do a gender reveal party just because, but I also don't blame people who do have them because that's just like, that's just a tradition. I think if your kid comes out as trans, like, on their own accord, a gender reveal party might actually be, like, a really fun idea. That sounds like a cute way to show them that you accept them. What I would do is I would educate my child that trans people exist. Obviously, their parents are trans. But I would be like, hey, trans people exist. I wouldn't say, are you trans? I would just make it very clear that trans people exist and that we're not transphobic in this household. I want them to know, like, in general, trans people are accepted. So that way, if they were trans, if they felt trans, they would have no problem telling me. I don't want to tell the child they're trans. I just want to curate an environment where if they were trans, they would feel no guilt or no fear about telling someone, you know? It doesn't have to be a sit down conversation. Sit down, trans people exist. It could just be like, oh yeah, like this is a trans person, like whatever. Like, it's just kind of how you raise them, all of that. Like, that's my point of view, is that you should just normalize it in your household so that if they are trans, they can come out and there's no issue. If they're not trans, they don't feel like guilty. Let's watch one more.
Hi.
How's
I
it
know
going?
you wanted to sit at this table, but we have reservations, so
Oh.
I'm going to have to move you to a smaller table.
Okay.
Are you having lunch with us today? Okay. So I can move you over here, then the server will get you started in a few minutes.
Okay. Are all of these taken?
Yeah, the bigger tables have to be open because we have a lot of reservations today.
Okay,
So I can
what
put you
time-
What time? Okay, so far, I don't even see this having anything to do with being trans. Like, this is just a bratty thing.
in a smaller table. They're all different times, so we're about to set up this section for a party that's coming in.
Oh, okay.
So
What time do you think they'll come in? Just because it'll probably be pretty loud, I would imagine, right?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I just don't want to set up at a table if it's going to get loud in like 30 minutes. Maybe
It'll be loud everywhere in the cafe.
Okay.
Yeah. But so, would you like to still sit and eat? Because I can move you over here.
Just so I know, like,
Restaurants are loud. I'm autistic. I get overstimulated. I don't go to restaurants because I know that they have a very strong possibility of being loud. So far, I don't see anything to do with her being trans right now. She's just being like a bad customer.
when do you think like this will be popping, I guess? Because it's like empty now,
We're
so.
about to hit our lunch rush right now. And
Okay.
We have a lot of reservation. It's the holiday. People are on break, so we expect to be busy all day.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I can move you over here. It's probably going to be the quietest right
The server's being helpful.
now.
Okay. I think I'll probably just leave.
Okay.
It's completely empty in here, by the way. Like, completely empty. Someone sat me here and I was like, can I take the bigger table? And they're like, yeah, absolutely. I'm pretty sure she just kicked me out because she didn't like me or something.
She did not kick you out. She said move to a smaller table. And then you didn't because you were worried it was going to be loud, which, by the way, whatever. If you think it's going to be loud, you can leave. But don't make it the employee's problem.
Lots of reservations, they say. Lots of reservations. When are the reservations? Oh, I don't know when the reservations are, but you can't be here, basically. Do you want to move to like a small table that is bad lighting? And even though we already told you could sit at this table?
Okay, the caption says, I later learned that a hateful off-duty Hard Rock employee was watching my stream before this happened and told their manager I was a troublemaker that should be removed from the restaurant. This is why the manager approached me and passively asked me to leave. The manager did not ask you to leave. You said that wouldn't have anything to do with being trans, but that just shows the type of person she is. That's so bratty. I'm crashing out about this. I feel awful for servers just in a general capacity. They're just trying to earn money, man. They're just trying to get through the day. That is so rude. To be like, when are these reservations? That's none of your business. That's none of your. I don't know why I'm so fired up about this, but that is none of your business. Restaurants are loud. If you wanted a restaurant that was quiet, don't go to a restaurant. Go eat outside of your house or something. I don't know. You're out of your apartment, whatever. Don't make that the employee's problem. Like, yes, I get overstimulated. Is that the employee's problem? No. Am I going to act like I own the restaurant? No. Am I over? like, I get I'm overreacting, but is that like not an issue? Like, guys, tell me if that's not an issue. Like, would you be mad if you were that server? Also, she didn't kick her out. She did not kick her out at all. She did not kick Lilly out. Lilly volunteered to leave. She offered Lilly a space in the quietest section of the restaurant. That's a whole other level of petty. That had nothing to do with being kicked out. That's just so entitled. That's so entitled. That's the best word for it. That's so entitled. Okay. Now I get why people really don't like her. Okay, verdict is in. I don't like Lily Tino. She puts a bad name on us trans people. Tell me your opinions in the comments. Do you like her? Do you hate her? Do you have a neutral opinion on her? Is there anything else I need to go in on? And give me more video ideas. Alright, bye guys.